More rain. Rainy, 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 rainy. Chapter 10, Twin Flames. Ooh, I think this is gonna be a good one somehow. Oh, it's Jade. Hey, Innkeeper. Hello. Hello, it's been a while since I've seen you around. A whole week, to be exact, and you already missed me. A little. Cute. I got my hands on a job all the way over in Eleithyia. Seemed like something relatively easy, but paid well. Or like something too good to be true. Not this time. Apparently the farmer just wanted it done quickly. So she offered a higher than average rate. Sounds like easy money. Yeah, I wish. You know, I think I could use a drink first. Something that'll bring back my speed and agility. I feel like this job drained me of all my energy. Only if I get to hear the rest of the story. Sounds like a good deal to me. Okay. Swift strike. Strike swiftly. One of these. And one of these. Let's hope this suits your tastes. Your drinks never disappoint. Glad to hear. I can definitely feel my senses coming back to me. I made you a drink, now it's your turn. Tell me about your latest job. Fine, a deal's a deal. I told you the client's a farmer, right? She had a large flock of two-headed sheep. Apparently that darn Starfall damaged their barn, and they somehow managed to break out of their enclosure. Didn't think they were that clever, honestly. Must be the two brains. Probably. Anyways, they got out right before their shearing appointment, and of course the farmer needed to get them back in time. Especially considering the rumors surrounding Eleithyia at this moment. Seems to be a dangerous place nowadays. Apparently, an unusual amount of cattle have been going missing these last few weeks. So local folks have been keeping a closer eye on their locks and fences. Of course, the farmer wanted her sheep to be safe, so she hired someone to bring her animals back. That someone being you. Obviously. I thought to myself, I'm a monster hunter. Handling sheep is basically my job. Handling animals is basically my job. I'd say a monster hunter is rather known for, well, hunting monsters instead of handling. That was exactly the issue. Do you know how stubborn two-headed sheep are? Let me guess, they're twice as stubborn as one-headed sheep. You got it. They're impossible to get moving, impossible to startle. One hen might be eating, the other one is always watching you. But you did it, right? I suspect you wouldn't be here if you hadn't finished the job. You're absolutely correct. I was at my wit's end. Imagine having fought hundreds, if not thousands of beasts, and some sheep are the one enemy you can't win against. That sounds like an incredibly humbling experience. It was, trust me. But luckily I got some help. Another adventurer saw me struggling and offered her assistance and knowledge. Or should I say, a retired adventurer. Oh? Yeah, she was very insistent on the label. Some kind of astral finfolk. Must have lost her arm a while ago. Oh no. Back to the sheep. She told me there's apparently one thing that gets their full attention. You got any guesses on what that magical tool might be? I have no... Clovers! Morning dew clovers, to be precise. They'll go absolutely feral for them. A few will make them follow every single one of your commands. but someone with your experience should know that, Innkeeper. Do you two know each other? Barely. Ah, keep your secrets then. Oh, so mysterious, Innkeeper. I want to buy her a drink after she's helped me out back there. Didn't expect you two to be best friends, honestly. Best friends? I think you got that one wrong, Jade. I'd never befriend someone like her. I have taste. Well, that was unnecessarily rude of you, Una. You didn't even consider my feelings. Consider me sorry, Innkeep. See, this bitch knows. I shouldn't call her a bitch, I'm sorry. This lady here, she knows. She knows we've got a big secret. And that we're a dragon. Oh my god, I always wanted to be a dragon. Now I get to be a dragon. It's so exciting. Apology accepted. Speaking of taste, what about your drinks? I know you've always liked experimenting with potions and other suspicious liquids. Looks like you finally made it, huh? Indeed, I think I've got the hang of it. Then what are you waiting for? Your old rival is wanting a drink. Preferably one that'll restore my energy. Those sheep made my old bones all wobbly and I don't like feeling so weak. Got you. Let's see what that old magic has to offer. Don't worry, she might not look like it, but her drinks are actually really good. I bet. I'll just take that as a compliment, I suppose. Alright, we need some strength. Let's get over one of these sailor things. Man, that's a crazy drink. Okay. That should do it, right? Okay, yeah, that should do it. 3. Okay. And then one of these. Oh, actually pour enough in. One of those. Ah, fuck. Andy. Thank you. I actually didn't need that because I got the pepper in there. Okay, so 1 charisma. That's a southern brawler. We also need to add an agility. A sailor's courage. There we go. Cool. Neat. Oh, wow. Impressed? Don't get cocky now. You don't have to be shy. You can just admit I've improved. So, Una, Jade told me you're retired now. Had enough of the adventuring business. Absolutely. I don't want to have anything to do with that anymore. I've completed enough quests for at least 2 lifetimes. And yet you decided to help Jade. Ever handle a 2-headed sheep? Not yet. Lucky you. Lucky indeed. I just couldn't watch her struggle with those stubborn beasts any longer, but this was a one-time exception. Did the farmer pay accordingly after your morning dew clover's magic trick? Oh, absolutely. She was so happy she gratefully paid both of us. That's good to hear. She even tipped us with some gems she supposedly found in one of her fields. But I'm a maida. Whatever that means. I don't have any use for stones like that. Oh, right, because she's partially made of stone. And since I'm retired, I couldn't care less about material riches. So we figured we'd give them to you instead. But I wouldn't tell that pretentious blonde dragon priestess if I were you. Feels like a blasphemous gift. Chitron? Oh, divine gems. A little blasphemous indeed. I think I know just the right way to use them, thank you. Don't mention it. Now that we're done here, I can finally go back to crocheting for the rest of my life. Didn't get this hook put on for nothing. It's a crochet hook, I just noticed. That's cool. Of course, I also occasionally gotta rip some youngsters off while playing cards. I haven't lost a game in at least 4 decades. That's remarkable. Or impossible for someone who's only playing fair. I think your lucky streak will end with me today. I've also never lost a game in at least a decade. Are you challenging me to a duel? Absolutely. And whoever loses has to pay for the next round of drinks. That's the spirit. I like you, Bounty Hunter, but don't come crying to me after I annihilate you. Ha, you wish. Jade, be on guard. You're worried about me? Cute. I just know for a fact that Una is master at cheating. I doubt that's changed. So you're saying you've lost against her? More than once, yes. Pathetic. Hey, are you talking about me? Listen, Innkeep, if your opponent is obviously cheating, like she was, you can't beat them fair and square. You gotta beat them at cheating. Now, watch how a real master does it. Oh god. I really don't want to. Oh shit, she's back. Oh my god, look at this guy. He's so cute. I love him. Good day. I have returned, Innkeep. Welcome back, Miss Anwar, and welcome... This brave adventurer's name is Claymore. He offered unexpected support during my quest. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you on behalf of, the world. Yes, of course, the world, Mr. Clay. You don't need to do the whole Mr. thing, just Clay is alright with me. Otherwise, it sounds so formal, like talking to one of those graph people. Oh, you wouldn't want to be one of those. Clay it is, then. Can I offer you both a drink in exchange for the story of how you two met? That would be a fun trade. Right, Tia? I think that would be welcome as well. And what can I get you? Clay, please go ahead. Oh my. You've got a lot of stuff on the menu. How about one of those drinks with ingredients? You look strong. How about something extra for the muscles? That sounds nice. Let's go with that. 1 minute. Alright, we're gonna give him something extra for his muscles. We'll just go with a Southern Brawler, I think. One, 2, 3. Try this. I think it might knock your socks off. This tastes strong and magic-y, but my socks are still on. Still, I love it. I'll have to remember this one for next time. What is it called? Don't worry, I'll remember it for you. Thank you. Now, Miss Anwar, what would you like? I need some of that liquid vigilance. Even in here, it's important to stay on guard. Wouldn't this be the right time to relax? There is no such time. Alright, then I shall aid you with your divine mission of not falling asleep standing. More defense. Okay. And we'll just get her a typical Frosted Lagoon. Let's do it. One of these. And a little bit of charisma. Frosted Lagoon. Some liquid vigilance diluted with some delicious secret ingredients. Enjoy. I could do with something less diluted, but you're right, it's delicious. Happy to hear that. Do we get to tell the story now? Please, go ahead. You think I should start with the seashells? No, I think some exposition is in order first. So you already know, Innkeeper, I plan to start my investigation right here in Zenith, specifically at the local Gaia temple. So I've been told. Mostly about the wobbling ooze. Ah, yes, that was certainly something. Unfortunately, they're fascinating personal secrets. They have nothing of value to share with me. But fortunately, thanks to your rumors, I was not entirely without a lead. The wizard's prophecy led me to Dalwall. Or should I say the Abandoned Isle, or Fairweather. The name changes depending on who you ask. I didn't know it had that many names. I just always called it Kelpie Island. Why? Because it's shaped like one. Probably the smartest approach. Kelpie Island or Fairweather, its name means very little to me. Its local settlement of Fae was much more relevant. They built everything into a giant sequoia that holds their portals to Avalon. Their portal is in a tree? Yes, right in its center. They call it the Horizon Tree. It's beautiful. The Fae themselves were moderately helpful. It was difficult to get them to focus on the severity of the situation. And I was pretty sure they were preparing some sort of morbid ritual with the acorns that they were stringing up between those rose bushes in asymmetrical shapes. Oh, I always thought those were art projects. Common misconception. It sounds like they were preparing to charge them with astral moonlight. For what? If you freeze them, they make good ice cubes. Do you participate in such activities? Not at the moment. I'm just not going to question that. Eventually, I got them to sit still long enough to ask them about any strange occurrences around their settlement. Did they understand your definition of strange? After some explanation. They told me about how just recently an astral humpback whale had rampaged through one of their nearby scouting camps. Just 2 days before the stars fell. They said it seemed like it was running away from something and that it was full of seething fury. They also claimed it to be a good sign because it promised adventure. Seems like an understatement? Majorly. I mean, it did end up being kind of an adventure. Investigating disaster is not an adventure. It's necessity of dire circumstances. I had fun. That makes two of us. It certainly was a sign of something being awry. I was determined to get to the bottom of it. So naturally, I made my way to nearby Carapace Beach and prepared a celestial summoning ritual under the young astral moon. For the humpback whale, I suppose? What else would I be summoning? I thought maybe you wanted to ask Cassiopeia for input. Are you out of your mind? The Realm Keepers have sworn a divine oath of neutrality that prevents them from directly interfering in the simple world of us mortals. The full might of their powers could disrupt the delicate balance of their cosmic design. Right. Sorry, slipped my mind. You are forgiven. As I was preparing the ritual, readying myself to confront the troublemaker, I suddenly found myself being interrupted by a strange request. That was me. I asked her if she needed any more seashells. Did she? I did, actually, pairing dragonhead tritons and flimmering? Limpet shells can heighten the dual aspect of the celestial twins, therefore making the connection to the astral sea even more stable. Obviously. I hadn't managed to find a limpet shell, and one happened to be among his offerings. I honestly just thought she was decorating the beach and that she could do with some more color. You weren't wrong in a way. Sadly, the shells burned up during the ritual, singed Tia's hands too. Just a little. Fortunately, I possess spectacular healing capabilities. Fortunate indeed. Were you collecting seashells for beach decorating or your very own ritual clay? I was collecting them for my friends. At this time of year, Kelpie Island is full of all kinds of sparkling, floating animals from the astral sea. And they love munching on seashells. Do you encounter these creatures a lot? I try to. They're very nice. Clay can talk to animals. Gaia's blessings rest upon him. You are full of surprises. Thank you. I'd love to be able to talk to animals. God, that would be awesome. I talk to my dog all day. Holy shit. That'd be amazing. Well, I'm not... I'd ask him not to snore in the background of all of my recordings, for one. Though I'm not always sure they like talking to me. They tend to disappear sooner or later. Sometimes they come back, but often they don't. I think maybe I accidentally say things that upset them without realizing it, and they think I mean to hurt them. I hate when that happens. Aw, he's a gentle giant. You mean they just disappear like they were never there? Yes, like they moved to a different, quieter beach. Or like they returned to the astral sea. I feel like they would tell me if they went back home. Not necessarily. Many Astrian creatures can traverse the plains at will, and they don't always have control over when they return. On many occasions, the astral currents pull them back home before they're ready. And once you're swept up in them, each subsequent journey out becomes more and more difficult, or so I've been told. I would guess your friends either went back home when you weren't there or got pulled back before they had a chance to say goodbye. So you're saying the sea swallowing them? Not quite, it just beckoned them home. Through a celestial hug of sorts? So that means I could just visit them in the astral sea? That would be an incredible undertaking. Traveling between planes is quite hazardous. Is it? But echoes are from the primordial sea and my family has lived here for quite a while, I think. They must have gotten here somehow. They say it was much simpler to traverse between the planes once. But for a long time it has been almost impossible without complicated and dangerous rituals. Until recently, the astral sea was the only possible way to pass through the barriers. And accessing it requires meticulous planning, not to mention the sea tends to come back with more risks than rewards. Even your Astrian friends who can choose to leave their home plane on a whim get pulled back by the currents eventually. Imagine what would happen to you if you went in unprepared. But the Fae on Kelpie Island aren't from Gaia either. And they told me they haven't lived here for very long. Since the 5 interplanar portals opened up, interplanar travel has become a lot more accessible again. At least when it comes to the dream planes. But even the astral and primordial seas, not to mention are finally open to us again after all these years. It is a true miracle to witness in our lifetimes. So the portals haven't always been there? I didn't know that. Who put them there? Well, that is a very good question. And one that would blow up the scope of this conversation beyond its bounds, I would think. You still have to tell me how you summoned that whale. You're right, we're getting off track. As Clay and I talked, he told me about his fascinating friendships with the astral creatures, and his ability to speak with animals as if they share a language. So you asked him for help? Well, he offered his aid. I certainly could have handled it on my own, but you didn't have to. Right, that. Obviously. Thank you very much, Clay. Anytime. So I summoned it. The ritual worked exceptionally well, and it appeared out of the sky in a wave of concerning darkness. Stars used to accompany them. I mean, there was one star. There was. The whale was even bigger than I had anticipated, almost as tall as the horizon tree. And in its stomach rested a giant sun, the only star of the night sky whose light had not been extinguished nestled right in its belly. That does sound beautiful. It was, in a way. The star wasn't the thing to worry about, though. The whale didn't look at all happy about being summoned. Instead, it looked like a wounded animal that was one loud noise away from lashing out. And it looked sick. Its translucent skin was gray, like it was frozen with the coldness of the highest mountains or the deepest depths. Its eyes were pale, almost blind, with no warmth in them. I thought for a brief second, we must fight this beast before it consumes us and everything in its path. But when I looked over at Clay, I saw deep understanding in his eyes, like he wasn't seeing a monster, but a friend. So I stayed quiet, knowing that whatever he knew outweighed my fear. You knew what it needed, Clay? Not completely, but I knew that look in its eyes. That feeling when you're so scared you get angry, when you want to fight, but you're terrified you won't be able to flee. So I kneeled to show that I meant it, that I didn't mean it any harm, and I held out my last conch shell in my hand. It took a moment to overcome the instinct of mistrust, but then it picked up the shell gently and ate it. I saw the conch freeze as it swallowed it. It looked painful. Wanting to comfort the whale, I reached out and carefully put my hands against its cheek. I wanted it to know it wasn't alone. I'm sure it needed that. It did. It was so sad it cried tears of golden dust. The tears turned ice before they even hit the ground. It was at that moment I realized its body had been cursed with a potent frostbite. I knew it did not trust me, so I did what I previously would not have thought possible. Through a hand on Clay's shoulder, the magic of your drink, I was able to briefly transfer my magic into Clay, allowing him to cure the creature of its disease. He kissed it on the forehead and the ice burned away, freeing it from its endless chill. It was quite sweet. That's one lucky whale. And one unusual effect of that infusion. Is that not usually possible? Inspiration is a fickle thing. Such magic is deeply personal and differs from person to person. I always enjoy seeing how others imagine support to look like. Tia's support was very helpful. I hope so. Once it was free of its pain, the whale was ready to talk to us. I asked what had happened, and it told me about fighting some sort of evil creature on 2 legs. A creature on 2 legs? A humanoid, then? We assume. It turns out whales don't care much about our appearances. It cared more about all the things being thrown at it. What a mean way to approach a whale. Apparently it swallowed some kind of stone. It could only remember its black and white color, and that it tasted horrible. But it thought, I have a strong digestive thing, it's nothing to worry about. Rookie mistake. The 2-legged monster just wouldn't stop attacking, so it fled as quickly as it could, trying to find its way home. It felt really bad about destroying the camp. I get why. The worst part about being angry is seeing the wreckage you leave behind. Tia, do you ever get angry? No. I am the embodiment of calmness and self-discipline. Where I come from, they call that repression. You forgot divinity. Thank you, I did. Luckily, its anger subsided when it found its way back. It thought it was safe, but suddenly the freezing cold began. What is happening? What is happening here? Do you guys see that? What is this? I don't mind the cold much. I'm from the Highlands. We get a lot of snow in the winter. But the kind of cold it was describing sounded awful. Painful and inescapable, like it was freezing from the inside out. The potent frostbite I mentioned. It seems a curse to cold and slowly spread through its entire body. It tried to keep itself warm by feeding on solar crabs and cosmic squid. That didn't help much. It just kept getting more scared and angrier and colder. Until even its brain was freezing over, it couldn't think of anything other than the cold. So in its desperation, it ate the hottest thing it could find. A star. A star. A giant one at that. It looked deceptively small contained in its belly. But apparently it's one of the biggest ones the night sky has had to offer. The East Star. It ate Pharos, the guiding star of the endless seas. It did, and it helped. It kept the frostbite at bay, even if it did not eradicate it. But as you can imagine, such a massive star disappearing did not have the most desirable effect on the astral sea's delicate balance of gravity. I can imagine that. The whale was very confused about what had happened. But it said all the stars around it suddenly started to fall and spin out of place. They crashed into each other, causing more and more destruction with each passing moment. I didn't understand everything it described, but it sounded bad. To label it bad would be quite an understatement. The falling stars ripped holes in Cassiopeia's wings. To think that just one hungry creature could break the entire balance of the universe. It was hurt and scared. It should have endured instead of hurting others. It was alone. It didn't know what would happen. It didn't. I'm sure it tried its best. Its best wasn't good enough. The whale isn't responsible for the horrible things that were done to it. We should celebrate that you were there to help it instead of blaming it for its pain. I think so too. Did you also manage to free it of the star in its stomach? No. The frostbite may be gone, but the star is now part of it. It has become the first of its kind, a sun humpback whale. And probably the last one too. All the other stars in the astral sea have been stuffed out. We will never be able to see the night sky again, and in turn, that whale must forever live with its guilt nestled in its stomach. You're right, some things are forever changed. That's kind of the point of disasters. But perhaps the star doesn't stand for shame, but for pride of its survival. We shouldn't be sad that most are gone, but happy that one managed to make it through. Besides, we may have lost the night sky's starry companions, but it managed to gain 2 new friends. Even the worst situations can lead to light sometimes. I like that. You should never be sad about finding new friends. Speaking of friends, on the way back we ran into this traveling souvenir shop. I bought this friendship bracelet for Tia and I with a little whale charm on them. But she didn't want to wear it just yet, so I'm waiting until she's ready. That's very nice of you. Right, Tia? They're a hazard for fights and could get caught in things. Sure, I'm looking forward to seeing how they look on your armor. Tia also found something for you at the souvenir shop. She said it reminded her of your tavern. Now that I've seen it in person, I agree. Now I'm curious, what is it? Oh, I love it! Oh, that's a very pretty mosaic. The shopkeeper told us a little about it. Supposedly, this piece of art represents a new beginning after a hard-fought battle. Kind of like the rise of the sun humpback whale. That's very fitting. Thank you, Tia. So... Tia, aren't you glad Clay was there to help you? I suppose I am. You really are? You are surprisingly competent. Perhaps one might even say I could not have done this entirely without you. If one was extreme about it. I think someone like you could do anything alone if you put your mind to it. But that doesn't mean you should have to. I'm always happier to doing difficult things if I have help from some other people. Well said, Clay. Stellar teamwork, you two. Keep it up. Will do. Much more importantly, clearly our quest was not successful. What are you talking about? You cured the sun humpback whale. You found out why the stars fell. You made a new friend. What more could you want? We still haven't the slightest idea who caused all this. An angry humanoid figure? And that is who exactly? Well, we can rule out you, me, and the Innkeeper. We can rule out you and me. Ouch. No hard feelings. I believe you're innocent, but sometimes evil hides in plain sight. One must not be led astray. I understand. Paranoia is a hard habit to break. Clearly someone orchestrated this. It seems too random and methodical to have been an accidental side effect. I must find out what hides in this darkness. If something like this happens again, it could end in calamity the likes of which we have never seen before. Don't worry too much about it, girlie. This is just kind of how oblivions are around here. I wouldn't call this just another oblivion. How often have you seen stars fall from the sky? 0 times. I was asleep when it happened. And now that it's over, there go my chances of ever witnessing supreme meteor shower. You should not wish to witness such horrors. Some horrors are fun to look at. Listen, love, when I was your age, I used to worry about stuff like this all the time. This weirdo here did too. We all did, at one time or another. But I know from experience that making such a fuss about it won't get you anywhere. These bite-sized calamities are part of the natural order of things. From chaos to balance, to chaos to and back to balance, everything just switches around in a never-ending cycle. Sure, it's good to keep an eye out, but you don't have to give yourself an aneurysm over it. Just pick up a quest if it worries you and follow the natural flow of the universe. That way, if you're lucky, you'll end up retired like me. Such a leisurely attitude only leads to failure. And, even then, someone is always going to save the world in the end. And that someone is going to be me. Haha, the youth. Anyway, old enemy, got another drink for me? I'm running dry. Anytime, Una. Are you still running low on energy? How about another strong one? You got it. Okay. Let's just give her a southern brawler this time. I don't feel like being fancy. Plus, she sucks. We've already impressed her enough. She's pretty, lackadaisical about the whole world-ending thing, you know? A southern brawler. Andy, you're such a good boy. Something strong for the most strong-headed lady I know. Weird way to admit you lost every argument against me. This drink is splendid, I'll give you that. See, with one of these, your worries will be washed away with flavor. Good or bad. Depends on the day. I find your apathy borders on tragedy. And I find your hero complex unsustainable. Remember, kiddo, they don't build those statues for folks who are alive. Who cares about statues? My purpose is my purpose, and I don't care who immortalizes me. No one's purpose is to die, girlie. Life is much more meaningful than that. Anyway, my purpose is winning at cards right now. Good luck with your delusions. I apologize on her behalf. It's fine. Tia, are you dying? No. She was purely speaking in the hypothetical. I'm not sure what that means, but it doesn't sound like it could damage your armor. But you know, maybe you should listen to her advice, or at least a little bit. My granny's always saying, with age comes the priceless wisdom of mistakes. I think your grandma's advice would be much more helpful than whatever a failed hero has to say. You think retirement is a failure? One's post should never be abandoned. If you can still serve this world, you should. Not sure if that's bleak or inspiring. The latter. She was right to want one thing, though. The past is full of terrible disasters that were prevented. Which means that this too could have been attempted before. If not very successfully. Knowledge of something so vile must be scarce and well guarded, maybe even abandoned. I have never come across anything like this anywhere in the Aperture's library. Granted, the Aperture has only been standing for a little over 2 decades, no? Its library can't be that vast. Many of the Order's books were relocated to the new stronghold. But I do believe that we don't currently harbor the knowledge I seek. For that, other avenues must be explored. What are you considering? We could ask everyone we come across until we find someone who knows something. Good idea, but that would take far too long. I think we should look for the Everbloom archives. Is that a book club? An ancient one. Everbloom was one of the Great 7 Maiden archives, the Gaian one to be specific. Legend has it that there used to be one on each plane, even Tout, the plane of the dead. They were once filled with all the knowledge of the cosmos and grew in size every day thanks to their fearless archivists. But then they fell to an unknown foe and have been lost to time ever since. I believe one of them could hold the answers we seek. Innkeeper, do you perhaps know where to find this archive? Nope, not much of a librarian, unfortunately. Disappointing. But you could keep an eye out for it, right? You could ask all the scholarly people that pass through here? Of course, I can do that. Perhaps you can start by asking that bounty hunter once she's done gambling all her money away. You could ask her yourself. I would rather not. I'll take that terrible task off your hands then. Wonderful. You won't need more than a day to take care of all this, right? I could do with a little more time. Nonsense, we don't have more time. I need your full commitment on this, Innkeeper. This is very short notice. As are disasters typically, hence the vigilance. I shall return to a fully prepared quest tomorrow morning. Okay. In the meantime, you should rest. Don't be ridiculous. I have things to do, people to help, prayers to consult. Uno is right. A good night's sleep would do wonders for you. I could even offer some coupons to a beautiful swamp spa. Fine, I'll take 1 or 2, though they won't be put to much use. If I rest now, who will this world have faith in? I shall see you tomorrow. It's always nice to see burnout happening in real time. Don't worry, I'll go with her and make her some soup. Soup always helps me when I have a headache, and it looked like she had a big one. Do you want some soup as well? No thank you. Not a soup friend, I respect your choices. I'll only come back with a well-rested Tia then. That's already quite enough, thank you. I'll take some of those coupons too. Wonderful. Talking through everything really helped, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. I hope you held on to those seashells. Catching up with some astral friends might make you feel a little better. Actually, I was thinking I could use the shells to make some friendship bracelets for Tia and I. I want to carve them into stars. I think that sometimes you have to make something beautiful out of the things that hurt you. Otherwise, you're left with anger that has nowhere to go. You like being angry? No. Me neither. But we all get angry sometimes. It's not the most fun, but it's important. Never getting angry doesn't solve anything either. Just makes you smaller and smaller until people no longer see you as someone they need to think about. At least they're not scared of you. Anger doesn't make you any more of a monster than silence makes you a saint. Be a whole person, Clay, and don't be scared of who that is. I'll try, Innkeeper. Thank you. I hope you find your way back to yourself, too. Thank you, Clay. Me too. Oh god, we're back to these two. Oh shit! Man, it's a busy day. Top of the evening to you. Welcome to my tavern. Oh, what do my magical eyes see? New faces, new acquaintances. With whom do I have the pleasure today? No way, a speaking skeleton. Haven't seen one of those in a long time. Hello there. How incredibly rude of me to leave out introductions. My name is Skully. And he's polite as well. You can call me Una, Mr. Skully. And that one over there, that's my friend Jade. Fellow Maida. But with more skin left. Which isn't immensely difficult, I suppose. Glad to make your acquaintance, Una, and her friend Jade. Skully, shouldn't you be named after a gemstone? As far as I'm aware, Maida last names reference their bones, no? Correct, but I cannot remember what my poor bones are made out of. Death has left quite a lot of gaps in this head of mine. Let me take a look. Looks like alabaster to me. Hard to say without a thorough analysis, though. Alabaster? That does sound familiar. Like an old name, perhaps? I'm not sure, but it's worth investigating. Thank you, Jade. Still, let us stick with Skully until we have more detailed information. I think I should be going now. I still have work to do. What a coincidence. I happen to want to say the exact same thing. But wouldn't it be rude of us to leave that distinguished gentleman here all by himself? I think one of us should definitely stay a little longer. Isn't that cool that both of you have bones made of shimmery gemstones? That is true. I haven't seen another Maida since I woke up. So anywhere between 2 weeks and 2 centuries ago. See, it's a match already. Would be a shame if the two of you weren't to become friends. Huh? Anyway, see ya! That was quick. Indeed. I guess a woman her age knows what she wants. Oh shit, it's this guy again. Good mythical morning! It's well past sunset, Hex. That might be true, but it's still morning somewhere. You got it, but today I'm not here to talk with you about primordial magic. Today we're going to celebrate my sister. Greetings, everyone. Come on in. Pleased to meet you. My name is Skully. Jade. You can call me Hex. And this is Grace, my little sister. Yes, I know she's taller than me. You can't keep it to yourselves. We're here to celebrate, not to roast, though some fire might be fun. No fireballs inside Hexagon. If you insist, a fireless party it is then. My bones are aching for a party. I haven't attended one in what feels like an eternity. What's the occasion? My wonderfully talented sister defended her wizard doctoral thesis just today. She can now call herself an actual full-blown selenite witch. It's not that special, honestly. I beg to differ. That's a major deal. Congrats! I must congratulate you as well. Quite an outstanding achievement indeed. You're very sweet, thank you. I have to agree with everyone. You should be proud of yourself. I let a drink on the house to celebrate your graduation. Hex already told me you're a real magic connoisseur. I would love to taste one of your creations, Innkeeper. But I don't know what to pick. Could you recommend something for me? Of course. How about a drink for your wits? Your brain must be awfully tired after debating your professors all day. That sounds lovely. My brain could use a little pick-me-up. Coming right up. Alright. We gotta pick up our brain. Oh, should we do this peak sunrise? Have we done this one already? One of these infusions does double, yeah. Okay. One. Ooh. Oh, right, because it already has two. Okay. And then we need 2 dexterity. And 1 charisma. Peak sunrise. You go. Oh, right. This is the one with the little mountain inside. My, this is delightful. See? Told you. She definitely knows her craft. Say, Innkeeper, do you have a PhD in mixology by any chance? Last time I checked, no. But I have a lot of experience. Took me a while to get the hang of it. I can tell your drinks are really tasty. I could easily go for another round of debating right now. Is anyone else up for a drink? Nah, not yet. I'm still energized from earlier. Skully, Hex, what about you two? I'm good. I don't want to steal the show today. I would love a refreshment for these old bones, actually. Perhaps something that'll bring back the charm of the old days. At your service. At your service. What have we not made recently? Should we do a smoking heart? You wanted charisma, right? Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3. One of these. And one of these. There you go. Here you go, a drink for the charming gentleman. Oh, what a lovely taste. It warms my bones inside and out. Should I be worried? Maybe it's an undead thing. Well, theopractically, it would be impossible for a magic drink to warm one's bones. You'd need... You and your wild dreams, Hexy. Maybe leave those experiments to someone with an actual laboratory for once. Oh, all that talking about studying and degrees brings me back so many old memories. I was also a scholar once. I spent my life as an archivist at the Gaian Everbloom Archives, to be precise. Before my, well, supposedly eternal slumber. I've read a lot about the old archivists, but I've never had a chance to talk to one. Well, obviously, they're all dead. All of them? Yes, the archives were destroyed ages ago. They're mostly myth now. Oh, that's quite sad. A lot of knowledge must have gotten lost with them. I guess so. If you wouldn't mind, Skully, I'd love to hear more about them. Maybe we can retrieve some of that old knowledge. It would be my pleasure, but sadly I cannot remember much of my research. All those years below ground and without sunlight doesn't seem to have been any good for my memory. It's been a few centuries since I've been alive, so I'm not even sure where one would find the archives nowadays. Or their ruins, rather. Do you remember the environment surrounding them? Maybe that could help. A little, I believe. I might have even woken up close by. My early memories as a skeleton were quite hazy. During my lifetime, the archives were located deep underground. Gaia's lively blessings were juxtaposed with hostile and lifeless mountain range. They were surrounded by nothing but rocks and boulders, as sharp as talons and fangs. Even if you made it out of the mountains, you'd be greeted by either dry steppes or poisonous lake. The liquid in that lake could singe the meat right off your bones. I knew someone that fell in the lake once. I remembered it as if it were yesterday. Well, that sounds like not the best place to build an important archive stronghold. Wouldn't necessarily agree. They say the books and scrolls of the Maiden archives contain all the mysteries of our world and the realms that surround us. Of course, you have to protect that knowledge. Would be a shame if someone... Anyways. I think I know the place Skully's talking about. Oh? It sounds just like Gravelmac, sharp rocks next to a poisonous lake. There's no way a location like that exists twice, on this plane at least. Or else I would have heard of it. I wouldn't recommend going there. I bet it's exceptionally dusty after all these years. But think about all those hidden treasures, knowledge left untouched for a millennia. That sounds a little too ambitious, even for you. Fine. Your delicate wizard sensibilities wouldn't last a day in the Gravelmac anyway. Oh, and you would? Who can say? Anyway, I gotta go now. Shared enough secrets of the trade today already. Thank you for your reluctant service. What a lovely young lady. She would have made for a great archivist. And a grumpy one. I'm sure she just had a long day. As have I, honestly. I'm very tired. I'm absolutely sure of that. You should take care of yourself. You seem like the kind of person that does things very thoroughly. But you should try to relax for a few days. I agree. Getting your PhD is a major accomplishment. It's nothing, really. I spent a lot of time researching. Defending my thesis was merely a formality. Skully's and my point still stands. And I'm sure your brother would agree with us. Absolutely. You're all very kind. I really appreciate it. How about we call it a day? It's getting late. A splendid idea, as I would expect from a witch like you. Seems fair. Hope you get to enjoy the rest of your evening, Innkeeper. I will, theopractically. Cute. That was a good one. Alright. So the Mayan archives once held the infinite knowledge of the cosmos. The guy in Everbloom could hide answers no one is quite ready for. Apparently they recently, this is a change that they made in response to some people that were complaining that this part of the game kind of like they felt like they were getting locked out of because they couldn't figure it out. So they changed these so that they would match the color of the post-its or the notes. But now people are complaining that it's too easy. So they're gonna change it back so that these are random and that this is an option that you can turn on. So I don't know when that's happening, but I just read something last night about this. The fabled Everbloom are located deep within Gravelmac. Okay, let's try that. The Lost Maiden Everbloom archives are said to offer infinite knowledge to anyone with unanswered questions. Its ruins lie deep within the Gravelmac, a dangerous and lifeless mountain range that even seasoned adventurers try to avoid. If that wasn't enough, the mountains are also said to be haunted by nightmarish bleak stalkers. Let's just hope they don't find abandoned archives cozy and inviting. There we go. It's up. Gonna feed Andu. We're gonna sweep. Blow out the candles so the inn doesn't burn down. Woo! Oh. Well, that was a great day. I really enjoyed that. That was cool. I kind of thought that that might be the end of Act 2, but it's not. So the next day will be Chapter 11, Trouble in Paradise, 9th of the Astral Moon. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I hope that you're enjoying this series. I'm really, really enjoying this game, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!